Ovid's Metamorphoses. Introduction. I tell of forms transmuted into new, and since ye things called gods, these deeds were wrought by you. Smile on my task, and lead my ceaseless lay, from earth's beginning to the present day, the creation of the world. Ere sea and lands and covering sky were made, crude nature one amorphous face displayed. Chaos 'twas called, a raw unfinished mass of ill-joined seeds congested in one place. No Titan sun yet shewed the world his light, nor did fair Phoebe mend her crescent bright. No balanced earth the closing vapors bore, and Amphitrite's arms reached not the shore. When there was land, were also sea and air. Weak was the earth, and naught would ocean bear. The atmosphere no rays of light could keep, and warring matter formed one shapeless heap. Heat fought with cold, the moist opposed the dry. Soft things with hard sustained the enmity. Imponderable clouds displayed their hate towards things more solid and possessing weight. This strife kind nature and they would call God subdued, cut land from heaven, from land the surging flood, distilled the liquid sky, the ether rare, from denser vapors and the humid air, which done the things from chaos late unwound, were in a more harmonious order bound. The weightless empyrean first was raised, and in the citadel of heaven blazed. Second in lightness, air took second place, and flowered contented in the middle space, whilst heavier earth the heavier atoms drew, and self-compressed a rigid solid grew, sunk to the depths upon the strands thus made. The girdling waters of the ocean played, when thus the god, whoever he may have been, cut separate members from his wild demesne. The first, lest some unequal part be there, rounded the earth and shaped it to a sphere, then bade the wind-swelled channels to surround the solid shares of the encircled ground. Swamps, lakes, and fonts he added to the rest. Descending streams twixt sloping banks he pressed. Divers parts in divers ways they flow, sucked in by earth, some lose themselves below, whilst others the expanded ocean reach, disdain their banks, and beat the distant beach. At his command the spacious plains extend, the grassy vales to various depths descend. The leaves o'erspread the woods with verdant dye, and stony mountains rise to meet the sky. As the high heaven by circling zones are cleft, two on the right as many on the left, between which pairs a fifth more ardent lies. So is the earth the mirror of the skies, that encompassed solid by the great God's care, bears just such regions as the heavens bear. With deadly heat in the middle district glows, the two extremes lie frozen neath the snows. Twixt fire and ice the temperate zones extend, where heat and cold in just proportion blend, or these impends an airy canopy, which heavier is than fire, as earth than the sea. In air's dominion, by divine command, the fleecy clouds and foggy vapors stand. Thunders terrific to the mortal mind, the flashing lightning and the frigid wind. But earth's creator gave not these to bear conflicting sway and rule the passive air. Hard though as it be to shield the world from gales, such strife betwixt the brother blasts prevails. Each winds forbid, save from his own domain, to blow the breeze or hurl the hurricane. Thus forced and bridled, Eurus now recedes towards Nabathaa and the Persian Medes, where bright aurora spreads her rosy blaze, and massive mountains meet the morning rays. From evening shores that warm in sunset's beams, mild Zephyrus breathes out his airy streams, while Scythia's steppes, where shines the seven-starred plough, beneath the might of dreadful Borealis bow, the rainy Auster in the cloudy south destroys alike the sunlight and the drouth, and o'er all these is placed the liquid sky, which hath no earthy dregs nor gravity, the creation of man. All separate things were hardly thus disposed, when myriad stars, by chaos long enclosed, burst from their bondage and began to light the heavens' whole vault and cheer the sombre night. And now, lest any part should vacant be of animals in just variety, the constellations and the forms divine possess the ether with splendor shine. The rolling ocean and the rippling stream with supportive schools of slippery fishes teem. On solid earth ferocious beasts appear, whilst feathered flocks fly through the mobile air. Yet one more race creation still required, of holier sort, with nobler spirit fired, to dominate all else in nature's plan, was formed that last and greatest king man, perchance the fabricator of all things, the mighty source whence mundane order springs. From lofty elements our sacred seed made mortal creatures to supply the need, or else the ground new made and torn from heaven, yet keeping fragments of celestial leaven. Japetus's great son Prometheus took, blent it with water from a running brook, and deftly copied in the dampened clay the immortal things that they call gods that all creation sway. Though animals of less exalted birth, with drooping glances eye the lowly earth, the man is bid to lift his lofty face, enjoy the blue and view the starry space, terrestrial matter, rough and undefined, thus changed gave rise to stately humankind. And I thought I was going to have to change that because there's a particular poem that is going to come off racist, so I'm not going to, going to have to censor that part. But it's going to be clear what it is, right? So we talk about gods, right? Well, I don't mean that all these things should be worshipped or whatnot. And I'm reading someone else's poem work anyways here. But we're on the same level as these beings, or we could be, or we're higher, or something, you know. It's various male and female beings that people talk about. And once some things were started in creation, other things became part of the creative process or the evolutionary process for the rest. And humankind is, of course, given a particular unique place in all that.